This is big breaking emergency news. Flights are now being canceled until April 2025. That is what is being announced right now. And this is big because this is a warning sign that we could see things pop off very soon. All right, this is a major announcement, and this is also a major economic hit. So this announcement of flights being shut down for this long, leaving and coming into the US and leaving the US into certain countries, this is major. All right, so let's dive into the details here really quick. Please hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated on all this big urgent news. All right, so there's a lot of big stories going on right now. This is one of the biggest ones that we are dealing with, and multiple different airliners have announced that they are shutting down and suspending flights for months. For almost 8 months this is being announced. So this is a major decision, and we could see a cascading effect. We could see more flights and more airliners announce and make similar decisions as well. All right, so if you have any family that's overseas right now, let them know, okay? And warn them, because they could be trapped in these situations. We have multiple things going on. We have major wars breaking out, and we also have this quote health emergency that was just declared too, and we're seeing travel restrictions and screenings and quarantines already being set up for that as well. So we could see multiple different things that could shut down travel and shut down flights coming, even more, right? Even more coming. So let's get into the details here. So there's a lot of news, right? We are having arrivals of Blinken as well. He just arrived in Tel Aviv as the US is pushing for a Gaza ceasefire. Okay, he delayed his trip a couple days ago because there was worry that this attack was going to happen, but now he is in Tel Aviv, and he is there supposedly for these ceasefire negotiations. Okay, and also just today in Tel Aviv, they just had a bombing attack, right? An alleged bomber that blew themselves up in Tel Aviv, right, in the middle of the city. This just happened today as well, right? So lots of things are developing in this part of the world, and we also have flights being canceled too. So check this out. American Airlines has announced the suspension of flights to and from Israel until April 2025 amid regional tensions caused by Israel's conflict with Gaza and Iran, right? And it says that American airline flights have been removed from the booking systems until April 2025, which means there will be no direct flights to Israel during the coming winter season. All right, so flights to there and flights leaving are being shut down until April 2025 from one of the biggest airline providers for people traveling to the US in this region. All right, so this is a major announcement. They could have some type of preemptive knowledge, or the risk assessment is too high, and they are now canceling out all flights until April 2025. That's 8 months. That's a big decision. It's not like they're just canceling it for 30 days or 60 days until we see a response attack. So be on the lookout for this part of the world to have more escalations as well. And also in Europe too, we have some news and updates on that. I'll get to that in just a second. But also several international airlines, including Lufthansa, Austrian, Iberia, and Brussels Airlines, have all suspended flights to Israel as well. All right, so multiple different countries are suspending flights there to and from, And if something pops off, there could be a situation where there are no flights to even get out, right? That is what happens a lot of times because everyone tries to leave at once, and all the flights that are available get booked up, and then there normally would be more, but they've all been shut down. All right, so be on high alert. The U.S. is going to be directly involved, most likely, in any type of situation, any type of retaliation from Iran. We have major military assets there right now. Secretary of State is in Tel Aviv, and we also have U.S. CENTCOM says it destroyed one Houthi uncrewed aerial vehicle in Yemen. Right? Says CENTCOM said on Sunday its forces successfully destroyed one Houthi drone in Yemen. All right? So the U.S. is already directly involved in these situations, and Biden also just made a statement on this too. He said, quote, "Not giving up, and it's still possible to reach a hostage release deal." Right? That was his comment just today as well. He was asked about what he thinks about the negotiations, and he said, "We're not giving up, and it's still possible that we could have a hostage release." All right, we'll see if that happens, but hopefully we do have peace in this part of the world, because it's dragging the U.S. as well into a major war conflict, these escalations that are happening. Okay, we also have reports coming out of Europe. We have Belarus just announced and said that troops will be deployed along the entire border with Ukraine. Right? So this is a big development after what's going on with Ukraine and Russia right now. Okay, Ukraine has become very brazen in taking back and advancing into these territories. Okay, and Belarus is now worried that they could have the same thing happen to them, right? That's why this is a major development, because they probably see the intel and probably see they're getting a little confident here, right? They're getting a little cocky here, and they might actually invade Belarus as well. So they are preemptively getting on top of this and sending their military to the border with Ukraine, right? So that situation is not over as well. There's been major escalations, and we could see a response from Russia. Okay, we could see a major response to stop the bleeding. Right, we could be in a situation where things are deteriorating, and there has to be a big response to get people's attention and to get them to stop. Right, that is what we could see happen between Russia and Ukraine as well, and Russia and NATO even. Right, there's been a lot of saber rattling going on, and Belarus is a close ally of Russia, so they could see the intel. Right, they might have intel that they could be invaded next. Okay, and we could potentially even see NATO countries involved in these incursions soon as well, right? They're already using NATO military equipment and NATO weapons, NATO vehicles, NATO aircraft. All these things are already being used. The only thing different would be is that the driver, the operator, would be switched to a NATO troop instead of a Ukrainian. Okay, so we are really close to war on that front as well too. The US and NATO getting potentially dragged into a major war on that front. Okay, and just a couple years ago, all these fronts were not this extreme, right? There wasn't all this chaos. These wars, there's always been conflict going on, right? Especially in the Middle East, especially between Iran and Israel. But things are really reaching a tipping point. And there's even reports that Iran potentially has nuclear weapons, right? And this has been reported for a few years now that they're very close, but it is now heavily rumored that they have them now. They have the enrichment capabilities for uranium, and they are using it. So that could be a surprise that we see as well. And remember just a few months ago, all this talk about the draft as well too, okay? They've been talking about it in the US. They were talking about women even having to join the draft. Right? Do you remember this? And in Europe as well too, there was major talk. Even top generals were saying that. In the UK, we're saying that we might have to have a draft very soon because the recruitment numbers are extremely low and their forces are dwindling, and this war is ramping up, right? So we could see a military draft implemented as well too. That's definitely one of the cards that they're talking about, okay? Because even the US, it's facing a very similar issue with recruitment numbers. They're at all-time low. There's been a major demoralization of the military, and that's why the recruitment numbers have been very low, and things like that could be turned around. But there needs to be less major wars like this happening. Right, that alone will increase. When people see major wars happening, that drives people away. First of all, it encourages some people, right, but it drives people away overall. And then there's also been a demoralization campaign just on the societal fabric of the military as well, okay, trying to break it down and trying to change it from the inside out. Okay, that also drives away a lot of people as well. So there's multiple issues going on, and we could see potentially a military draft in the future. I'm not saying it's coming in the next month or anything like that, but maybe in the next few years this announcement could be made, or if there is a major escalation like Article 5 has to be activated from NATO. So let me know what you guys think down below. These flights being canceled until April 2025. All right, that's a long time, and that's a major warning sign. They wouldn't shut down this commerce. They make money from this. All right, they wouldn't shut down this major commerce hub unless it's more of a risk than the money they are making. Okay, so we could see more airlines follow suit, and we also could see them follow suit with this other stuff too, with this health emergency going on, okay, that I was reporting on yesterday, giving you guys updates on. Multiple different countries are announcing travel restrictions, okay, like China. Countries in Europe are doing this, okay. Egypt. Countries all over the world are implementing these travel restrictions for that as well too, and we could start seeing flights being restricted, shut down, and rules and regulations, right, to go in and out of certain countries. We know that's part of one of their plans that they have, is to shut down air travel, okay? And if you've booked any flights, if you've looked at any flights or anything like that, it even has a carbon number on it. It tells you how much carbon you're using for it, okay? That's also in the cards, is to restrict travel based on carbon allowances too. All right, so there's multiple different fronts that are a threat to travel, and I don't travel or anything anyways. I don't go anywhere unless it's traveling in my RV. I don't travel internationally. I don't go to any other countries. I've never even been to other countries, right? So this isn't really an issue for me, but I know people do have family over there and do business, and they could be separated from their family in an instant. These things could be shut down. These things could be locked down. So make sure you are prepared. Make sure you are ready and stocked up. All right, we are in this season where it seems like a lot of big things are coming. All right, so just be prepared, be ready, have your tanks filled up, ready to go, your prepper pantry stocked up. I appreciate that. I hope you guys have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.